Hey, Tony, the Olympics are here, and I'm also pretty mad.
1 second, Corey. I don't have an American flag handy or a Canadian one, but I do have a Croatian one.
Team Croatia.
Go Croatia, go Canada, go USA, baby.
All right, let's get into it. Hey there, welcome to another episode of Trailside Dukes. Thanks for being here with us. Tony, the Olympics are here. Here we go.
Yeah.
They're off and rolling.
Corey, Olympics are a fun time. You know what I mean? Like,
What do you like most about the Olympics?
I like that you just have pride in your country. You know what I mean? And those athletes, whether they finish with a gold or whether they, oh, thanks, Corey, or whether they don't finish at all, whatever. But, it's fun to see your country's represented by these athletes and who in the USA isn't rooting for the USA basketball team. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're going to get into some of the sports and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think it's a pride thing. It's fun to poke fun of, we did a thing up at the we had a bocce game, right?
Yes.
So again, we'll talk the backpack trip.
Backcountry bocce ball.
Right. We did our own Olympics. What country were you?
I was U.S.
That's right.
Yep, and
Yep.
you were?
You were pretty arrogant, by the way.
No, I don't think I was. I was very passive.
Was that a USA thing?
No, it was just more of being a first timer and seeing the shenanigans of the committee and how things worked. I figured out I would probably end up with negative points by the end of the week.
Well, I think Croatia won that round.
I think Croatia was disqualified, if I remember correctly,
Oh, gosh.
by at least the second day.
Can you tell me what Croatia was disqualified for? See,
That's a
nobody knows.
great
knows.
question. I can't remember.
See,
There's
this
probably
is-
a lot of things.
This committee is corrupt.
There's probably a lot of
and
things.
Croatians will expose it. So
There's
you go.
probably a lot of things,
I know.
including improper dress code or dress code violations.
Wow.
Corey, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was just joking with you being, cocky and arrogant, But, when USA travels abroad, I think that is, because I
Is
have
that
family in
how
Croatia.
they're perceived.
I think a lot of
basically?
people
Oh.
perceive them that way. I think I've heard this many times from friends that I have that have traveled, especially going to France.
Oh, yep. Uh-huh.
France,
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
in French,
Yeah.
and I think I have a buddy that he's American and he wears a Canada hat just because he knows he's just going to get a little bit more level of not being snotty to, and that sucks for your regular American,
Yeah.
right? They're not like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good life lesson for anything, right? If you're, it doesn't matter if you're part of a culture or a team or anything like that. I used to tell, some of our kids and their friends as football players when they were freshmen, and they think they'd be funny and go out and try to do stuff. I would be like, guys, you have to remember that when you go and do something, even if it's outside of school hours or something like that, if people find out and they know who you are, you don't just represent yourselves, but you're representing your team,
Yeah.
your school,
Yeah.
your family,
For sure.
all that stuff. That's a thing. And I mean, I don't think a lot of people think about that. I don't know why I do, but it's just you represent
Yeah,
more
it's
than
important.
just yourself and nobody knows me kind of thing. It gets around,
I know.
My story isn't as
Corey-
long as yours.
Corey, nobody taught me that lesson when I was in high school. I had to learn
I'm
that.
still trying to teach you.
Jack is
That's why you were
miles-
disqualified by day 2.
Just
It's
because of
out
that?
in the wilderness.
No
it
way.
probably
You guys have
leads
no
into
idea.
some of that stuff.
You have no idea.
I'm sure we
why.
can get some of the guys on here. We'll get one of our buddies, Chad, on here.
We gotta get
for
Chad
cool
on.
friends, and he will be able to tell us why the committee.
I don't know if he will.
One of the reasons.
I don't know.
That's all we need.
I don't
I'm
know.
sure some of them.
Why you don't remember?
I was just laughing, and I was not surprised by any of it. So, anyways, I was just trying to get on the positive side of zero.
All right, we better move on.
So yeah, I mean, we had our own Olympic things going on. You could score points for making some wise comment, or you could lose points for making a wise comment.
Do your own family Olympics. Fun. Pick a
Yeah,
country.
it was pretty cool.
Super fun.
Kind of fun with the guys around the fire and stuff like that.
Totally.
But going on to the Summer Olympics, Paris, lots of cool stuff. I'm excited about it. I've been watching quite a bit. And I don't watch a lot of TV, but when the Olympics are on, I like watching it. I like watching the stories
Super fun.
of all of the athletes, no matter where they're from. And it's really cool stuff. And
Yeah.
I get into it. One of the cool things that happened the other day is Novak Djokovic was playing Rafael Nadal, and they were playing at Roland Garros, and they were playing on the main court there.
For our non-tennis
Okay.
people, Corey,
Sorry.
help explain the importance of that.
So the cool thing about this match is that I think Nadal will retire within the next year, probably. And the cool thing about that match was that court that they play on.
Where they have the French Open.
Yep, the main court.
Clay
court. And I think
weird.
it's cool that they keep it as clay for this Olympics. At the Australian Open, they had the hard court because at the Australian Summer Olympics, they kept it as a hard court because in Australia, that's the first hard court tournament in the Grand Slam Tour.
Why would you change?
Right. And
It's who you are, Corey. As
so
a country.
this court is the first time these two played, which was many years ago when they were younger. That was the court they played on. So
Super fun for them.
So
And
really
they battle.
cool. Yeah. Few shared a couple of texts with me. I guess he was at the match, so he sends me a couple videos right from while the guys are playing, and
I think
so
you put 'em on.
I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" So
Super
Coach
cool.
was sending me those, and I was texting him about our backpacking trip, and he thought that was cool.
Fun.
He knew exactly where we were, so that was kind of neat. But
Super fun.
really cool for men's tennis there. Let's see.
Didn't the men's
Basketball.
male gymnast team win?
They won
their
bronze.
first medal for the men's gymnast team?
Yeah, they won the bronze, which is pretty cool. The women today just won gold in the team event.
Yeah, well, they got that gal. She's amazing.
Simone Biles.
Yeah.
Right? This was kind of like her comeback thing.
Right.
Because last Summer Olympics, she bailed. She had something called the flipsies is what it's called. That's what they called it. I was watching this interview, and it was like she was talking about the
Didn't
best.
you just have the flipsies?
Pretty soon we'll get to that, and I'm mad. But she was comparing it. I was watching this interview, and she was comparing this as she wasn't quite sure what was going on with her during those games before she pulled out of the events. But the best way she could describe it
What
is
year was that? 2020?
2020 during COVID.
It was a weird time.
Yeah. And she said it's like you go to do your routine and you're ready to hit something and do your spinning and flipping and stuff like that, but you're out of control. She says it's like getting in a car and you're driving, and then all of a sudden, boom, you forget how to drive a car. You don't know what's gas, you don't know what's brake, you don't know clutch, anything.
Sounds like
and
a
it all
sports
goes,
psychology
it
game,
all kind
unless
of,
there was a
right,
physical reason for it.
it goes crazy.
What is it called when those people, when you lose your balance and you have that kind of
Discombobulated?
stuff? There's a medical term for it.
Equilibrium?
That's what it deals with. It's something with your ear and stuff like that.
Yeah. So she had that happen, and I remember when that
I had
happened.
that when we were.
Well, you had that a couple times. You had that a couple times when we were on our camping trip, probably.
Once. Just once.
You looked like Biden trying to get off the stage. You're like,
Okay. Okay. Back to the Olympics, Corey.
But I remember when Biles had that happen to her. It happened to be the same day that they were having an event here in Coeur d'Alene, the showcase, and so that night, Mark Few and I and Jim Gray was there. Jim Gray from NBC Sports, and so we're sitting there together, and Jim throws it out there. He's like, "Hey, what do you guys think about Simone pulling out of the Olympics and all that, and her the thought process and her mind and stuff like that?" And he and it was kind of cool just sitting there. And for me, I didn't really voice my opinion because I don't know much about that, but Jim was asking Mark, he goes, hey, Mark, have you ever had any of your guys as you're getting to that, progressing through the tournaments, you're doing really well, have any of that kind of mental kind of thing? It's not a block, but he's like, just the thing where
What did Mark say?
they start doubting their abilities and stuff like that. And Mark says, yeah, it's a real thing.
Yeah,
it's
real.
crazy. He's like, these college athletes, and as you start getting bigger and your program's growing and you're on a bigger stage, there's more of a demand almost.
You miss a shot
for
and it's
some
in
of
your
these
head.
guys.
Yeah, and then how do you... Yeah, Jack and I have had those conversations. A quarterback's got to be able, even after a bad play, like, okay, you got to go on to next.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to hear them
Super
kind of
fun.
talk about that,
was
and I was
awesome.
just like, wow, this is friggin' really
Yeah,
cool.
I bet it was
to hear
fun.
them talk about that stuff. And
Cool, man.
so really cool to see her come back with the team and win gold. We've got men's U.S. basketball off to a great start. You watched some of the game the other night?
Yeah, I watched the game.
Yeah.
Serbia played USA, and you know what I mean? Like, I think that the bitterness between Serbia and Croatia is gone, but there is still a rivalry there, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, geez. Like, I'm a big fan of the NBA Croatian guys, you know what I mean? Like, super fun. So, whatever, but, USA, like, holy moly, and to see LeBron just frickin' take that game over was
From the
awesome.
start, right? The steal with
awesome.
the dunk? Yeah.
Well, his start, and I thought, like, in the fourth, too, there was an 8-minute stretch where he just took over, which, as our friend Tony Cox would say, he's the king.
Yep.
But yeah, go USA. The vibe I get from those guys is a lot of national pride, and dude, they're at the Olympics. Like, it happens every 4 years, and I think they're enjoying themselves. You know what I mean? They're soaking in the Paris vibe and the Olympic vibe, and they're having fun. But I don't think that they're gonna, like, go into that game and go, we're just gonna win showing up. They're gonna they're just having fun.
Well,
they're just playing.
In the little practice showcase matches or games that they had, South Sudan had them on the ropes, and then U.S. had to come back in the final seconds to win it.
Right.
And so they're not taking them lightly. I do know that. That was one of the things they were like, we're not taking them lightly. Like, anything can happen.
There's a lot of pressure on those guys.
Yep.
You don't want to lose.
So this is pool play right now for basketball. I want to talk about women's rugby sevens, because we both have some cool stuff going on in here, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the U.S. they lose to New Zealand
Those guys know how to play rugby.
In the semifinals.
And ladies.
New Zealand's always been great for the men and women. When I played rugby for 1 year. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yep. In college. And so when I was in college, and it's just a long time tradition of New Zealand to have a great rugby team on the men's side and the women's side. The All Blacks.
They're tough.
And then the women's team is called the Black Ferns.
Right.
And so New Zealand actually ended up winning gold. They beat Canada in the gold medal final. And so Canada took silver. Did you know this? For women's sevens.
I didn't know this. Go Canada.
Yeah, Canada.
That's good. That shows a lot of toughness for those Canadian gals.
Yeah. And then,
like it.
And so the Americans, they come back on the final play against Australia. Australia is always good at rugby as well.
Twitter. Yeah.
The very last play.
Australia rules rugby.
Australian rules football is different than rugby.
Okay.
Yep, and then there's there's different leagues too.
Okay, we won't go there.
I'm gonna educate you here.
Oh, okay.
There's World. That's like you got your national teams playing for like a World Cup. Okay.
Top players.
Yep.
Just like
for the playing for the national team, just like soccer. Yep, and then you got these leagues below that.
Just like soccer.
There's rugby league.
I get it.
And then you have the Olympic teams and stuff like that, right? There's cities and stuff like all different leagues.
So tell us about the play, Corey.
The Americans are basically down on their own goal line, almost within their own goal line, and time's running down from there's 12 seconds left in the match, and the Americans are down by 5.
She got it on the 1 yard line.
Scoring wise,
1
if
yard
you
line.
go down and you score and you touch the ball in the end zone, if we're using football terms, you get 5 points. After that, you get to kick what would be called almost like a field goal, and then you'd get 2 points. Okay.
1 second, Corey. You keep talking.
Okay. So the Americans have the ball, like 12 seconds left. As soon as time runs out, the game isn't over. If the ball's in play, okay. If the ball is in play and everything's good, you can play it out until you have a dead ball, right? So if you still have more touches, you can be okay.
Yeah.
And try to run the field and score.
Yep.
There's a missed tackle at around 8 seconds, and the American gal runs it.
She broke it
all the way, coast to coast.
She was Walter
Payton.
Payton.
The try, ties it up, and wherever you touch the ball in basically the end zone, you go out a few meters and you kick from that angle. Well, since she beat everybody, she put it right in the middle, in between the goalposts. So go back out,
put it through,
kick it. Put it through with no time left. Game over. U.S. wins.
Unbelievable.
By 2.
Can you imagine being a fan at that game? That would be awesome.
Super cool. So they win the bronze on the final play. History made for the U.S. because this is the first medal in rugby that the American team has won on the men's side or the women's side in 100 years. 100 years. 100 years ago, it was
stat for Canada.
Meant. I don't know.
Normally,
maybe as Canada's, I don't know. Are they good? Yeah. I was surprised.
I can tell you one thing: they're better than Japan.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
And then surfing is in the Olympics for the second time in Olympic history. And it's 10,000 miles away.
Looks super cool.
They're doing this 10,000 miles away in Tahiti.
It's pretty smart, actually.
Teahupo'o.
Where would you
Teahupo'o has some sweet waves. I've known about Teahupo'o since I was younger because it was like where the guys would
legendary.
go.
It looks legendary. Those
really
waves
cool
look amazing.
Barrels.
Dude, they're surfing at like the best surfing place in the world.
Exactly.
So cool.
Yep.
Super cool.
And Teahupo'o means wall of skulls.
No. Okay.
How's that going into there?
Dude, the waves are huge.
Yeah, they can get really big. It was actually canceled today because.
Do they have any mountain biking in this Olympics?
There is. There's been mountain biking.
Do you know where they're at? Anywhere near where you mountain biked?
I don't think so.
We'll have to research that.
They would be crazy to mountain bike where I did. I don't understand why anybody would go mountain biking where I did.
I don't. I feel the same way about
biking, but I bet the guy at the shop that was giving me the bike, he's like, "Oh, go ahead."
Yeah, I feel the same way about going to Fernie. Like we should have talked to 3 or 4 different guys in bike shops. We talked to one guy.
Hey, do you think we should take this up? No, just stay on the road.
What are you gonna do? So yeah, super cool Olympics. Anything else on here, Corey?
Man, I think we got through it all. I had a lot of stuff up there, so I was sorry. I'm just excited about Olympics. I love it. Cool. When I broke my leg it was right before the Winter Olympics, and it was just so cool. So
you watched a lot of Olympics.
Yeah, and it was really cool. I mean, just some self-motivation, just more stories of like people coming back from injuries and stuff like that. So that was kind of helpful for my psyche.
I was 6 years old in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and I remember. Oh, sorry, I was 8 years old. And I remember watching the 1978 Summer Olympics because they were in Montreal. And it was all over TV in Canada. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember being like just a young cat, just sitting in front of the, those big old TVs that just sat on your floor.
Right. Yeah.
I remember just plopping in front of that and watching a bunch of the Olympics. It's probably why I had to get glasses like shortly after that because I probably sat too close to those TVs. Crazy. Yep. I've had LASIK since.
That's a great story.
But now I got to go to reading glasses because getting old sucks. Okay.
So do we want to talk about? We did have some meals during our camping trip, and that was one of the things we were going to do is maybe do like a review on these.
Why don't we give a short overview of the backpacking trip?
Go ahead.
And then talk about the food that we ate.
Let's do that, and then we'll go into like I'm mad.
Okay.
How's that?
So, the history behind this, Corey, you know it now because
Yeah.
you've been a part of it. But for over 20 years, I think Chad and Greg and several other guys started it. And I started jumping in like the summer of '02 or '03, it's probably '03, and have, pretty much made it every year. Although there were a few years when sports for Jack or something
Something
came up.
might come up. You can't
So
go.
something came up, but I haven't missed many years.
Okay.
So where do we go, Corey? You describe it.
You go into the woods. This is how I'm going to say it. Short story. You go into
can't
the
give the
woods,
exact
you park,
place.
you put whatever you have in your pack on your back, and then you go down 2,000 feet, about 3.8 miles, and it is a grind. It is not easy.
Do you need poles?
You need poles. This is the first time I've ever had to hike with poles, and I'm glad I had them. Like you convinced me, and I'm totally glad I had them. I probably had to use them a couple times for balance.
Well, you saw me. I almost took a digger. That pole, my knee bent.
But no
when I was
joke.
going
I
down.
mean, the only way you could practice or get your legs ready for this is if you actually put a pack on and just went somewhere and started
Walked
hiking
up and down the
mountains.
stairs.
Like, it's just unbelievable.
Walk up and down stairs.
I guess so.
Go to
but
the biggest building and walk up the stairs.
My
the
legs
flight
were
of the
shot
stairs.
halfway down, and you get down there, and it's like, man.
It was a workout.
And coming out of there, you're just 2,000 vertical feet up.
Pack's a lot lighter.
It is lighter, but it's still it needs to be, because that is a grind on the way out. It is tough.
Oh, could you imagine going up with that weight? There's no way.
But it is.
Why was your pack so heavy, Corey?
Well, we pack our beverages of choice and
Yes, we
things
do.
like that, and food and whatnot. So, is it worth it? I'm still thinking it's kind of worth it. I can still feel my calves.
Oh yeah.
Today they're still
Yeah.
a little sore. I've been stretching them, hitting them with the massage gun and everything.
Oh,
and
geez.
I know you should try it.
Wow. Okay.
But the recovery has been taking a while, and it's been 3 days since we climbed out of there. So I think it's worth it. Really cool fishing spots. You can catch a lot of fish.
What was your fly of
good
choice,
time.
Corey? Are you going to share that with the
Nope,
audience?
nope. Just the
Really?
You got to go on the trip to find out.
Will you tell them where you dry fly or what?
Some of them were under the surface with my dropper, and so most of them I would say were on the surface.
Yeah, most of them were on
Yeah.
the surface. Super fun.
because we had some nice weather,
Yep.
some good hatches.
Oh my gosh, seeing those fish take a dry fly is so fun.
Yeah,
Super fun.
Fun hanging out with the guys and fireside chats and music and laughs and
That spot's pretty amazing.
It is.
It overlooks the St. Joe River, and right by the campsite is a beautiful little waterfall. And you can go down and hang out by the rocks in the afternoon when it's sunny, because you'll want sun. Because if there's no sun and you jump in that river, it's going to take a long time, because that river is cold, Corey. I know you jumped in there.
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was that cold, but that was after that hike. So.
Yeah. Well, I looked
thought it
over
was
and
all
saw
right.
you bathing in it. I mean, you were like all soaped up and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. There's a section around a little further down.
I should be concerned on
where
how
you
you
can-
were looking at me while I
can
was
do that.
soapy.
Well, you were soaping up. Okay. So, okay,
That,
Corey.
that maybe is how you got disqualified.
do you think so?
Man, no.
No, you have no idea why I was disqualified. Neither does most of the committee, other than Nick, who was making stuff up. Whatever. I'm over it. But anyways, good times, going up and down, a lot of joking around. But Corey, one of the things which I'm impressed that you did was, because you got to eat. We stayed
Yep.
down there for 3 nights.
Yep.
And you got to eat, and your dinner is pretty much one of those, like, what would you do? Dehydration pack.
Dehydrated food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your Mountain House
Mountain
or-
House meals.
What's
or,
the other one? Do you remember the other name brand?
Here, let's get them up here. Oh, Mountain Pantry.
Oh,
And there was a.
we should start a Trailside Dukes dehydrated dinner. What would you make? What would you put in it?
Ooh, that's tough, because this is the first time I've had these. I've had MREs before in the past, like when I was
I
younger.
know you were in the military.
Yeah, I was not. Why do you have me in your phone as Corey D. Leonard D. Leonard?
Don't ask. It's a long story.
Like a double. Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I in your top 10 on your phone?
I don't know how you look. Do you want to look? Do you need to know that?
Okay. I don't care. So yeah, mountain meals. There were these puffs that the power. Remember the little cheesy power puffs we had packed with protein and stuff like that. So yeah, I've got like that as a snack. We got a couple breakfast things on here.
So is each number on there for someone you got a response?
Yeah. So you were impressed that
mine.
every morning I would keep track of what our scores were for each meal that we gave. So I don't know if this will help people out, but if you're going backpacking and you're looking at these different meals,
I always know from talking to
kinds.
guys, chili mac is always like
that seems
one of
to
the
be
more
a favorite.
popular.
So if we were going to have a Trailside Dukes, maybe we do some kind of chili mac kind of thing, or like a goulash. What about a goulash?
Let's do it.
Throw some corn in there.
Okay.
Or what would you have in a goulash?
If you're listening and want to join this entrepreneurial endeavor, let us know because we'll need a lot of money.
Maybe some like macaroni noodles and
We'll need a lot of money.
beef.
But yeah, Trailside
Beans.
Dukes chili mac. I think
We
we
want
could.
beans in there.
Well, we can expound later.
Okay.
Give us more data. on here.
So the first one we got here. This is on a scale from 1 to 10, right? First night you had the mountain meal stroganoff.
Stroger.
Yep. And I think you gave it a 7.
Correct.
You were big on solid number scoring.
Yep.
I get into the decimal format.
I know you go into small details.
So you gave it a 7. I gave
more
it
a whole
I gave
number
it a
guy.
6.8.
Right.
Okay.
You're like an Olympic judge.
Then we get to the crowd favorite at
Chili mac.
at the Camp Fest.
I had that night
the
two.
mountain meal chili mac.
I saved that for night 2.
And at night 2 you gave it the same score.
Oh.
You
okay.
gave it a 7 as the stroganoff.
The stroganoff was good. I'm telling
Okay.
you. I mean, it was good. I like the stroganoff.
What would make it an 8? What would make it an 8?
It's more flavor, more meat. Flavor and meat.
I think the flavor is the ticket. Chili mac had more flavor. I gave it a 7.8.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The little power protein.
Yeah.
I think it was from. Gosh, I can't remember the company. I got it up here on the screen so you can see it if you're on the YouTube channel. The puffs. You gave it. You're strong with the 7s.
7.
You gave it a
It was
7.
good, but it wasn't anything great.
It's just like a little puffy
Yeah.
chip, kind of like a. not even like a Cheeto.
They were all right.
They were okay. Packed with protein though. I gave it a 7.2.
Okay.
All right. Then we get to one of the morning meals. We got the Mountain Pantry granola with it was with bananas. I think they got
Is
2
there
different
yogurt in
kinds.
there?
There was no. It was
Pour
just
hot water into this?
no. You can do it hot or cold
Oh, okay.
if you want, is what the instructions said.
Okay.
So Mountain Pantry granola. I liked it. I don't know if you had a bite of it. Did you have a bite of that?
I don't know if I did.
I gave it an 8.2. It was good. Hard to mess up granola though.
True.
In my book.
I agree.
I liked it for a morning. I wanted to taste it with like the dehydrated milk and stuff like that. So I was like, I want to try one of those. I liked it. It was good. It was granola with bananas and maybe almonds or something like that.
Okay.
We had I forgot the brand name. It was lasagna.
They don't care.
Lasagna was okay. I gave it a 6.8.
That's your lowest grade.
I don't think you had a bite of that.
I don't think so.
I wish I could remember the name. I have it on the screen.
Doesn't matter.
Darn it.
On to the next. I had some of your breakfast skillet.
You did.
Yeah.
That was the.
That's my highest score.
You gave the breakfast skillet. What'd you give it?
8.
You gave it an 8. You liked that one.
Yeah. It was tasty.
For me, it was pretty bland, so I gave it a 6.2.
I don't know. It tasted like awesome.
It was
to
okay.
me.
It was hot. It was nice in the morning because that was a cold morning.
Yeah.
And then we get the Mountain Pantry Pad Thai. And when I was looking at this at the store, I'm looking at it. It's the last one. They only had one of them. Okay, all the other spots
So that
were kind
tells you
of full.
something.
So I'm thinking,
No, that tells you something.
yeah. So I'm thinking like
You're like a detective. You're like Batman.
When I did some research, there was a lot of talk about Pad Thai. Didn't matter which brand it was. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not a huge pad thai fan, but I'm going to check it out. And there's one left, so I'm like, maybe that's a good sign. Like, a lot of people
got
like
it.
this. Or
I thought it
maybe
was
it's
great.
not very popular and they only carry
I think it
one
was a
12
good
months
call.
at a time or
It was a
something.
good call.
So I grabbed it. It was great. You have to wait a little bit longer because you got a lot of stuff to mix
You
up.
gave it a 9?
I gave it a 9.1. I would eat that stuff. I think you're onto something. It's because of the flavor.
It was my higher
You
rank.
get flavor. It's not spicy or anything. You gave it an 8. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 9.1 and an 8. So if you have a choice with some of those, make sure you grab some pad thai. My chili mac friends.
It's probably the most official. We should do research more often, Corey.
You like that? Where
like
we do
that
where
research.
maybe we should eat more stuff and
Yeah.
give it some grades. I know a
think
lot of YouTube channels do that, but
I think it
I'm okay
gives
with
the
doing
Trailside
that.
Dukes like just more of an educational, listen when they
gotta do it.
listen to us. You know what I mean? If you can give us some ideas
We
for
will eat stuff for you.
research. Yeah. No, Corey will eat anything. I've seen
What if
it.
we drink stuff too? Maybe we should do some drink
we
stuff.
do a drink test. Okay.
Right.
Maybe Clamato juice.
I don't even know what I'm drinking right here.
What's better, Clamato juice or tomato juice?
I'm not that kind of fan.
We're gonna do that one.
Ugh.
Just by the face you're making, Corey, we're gonna have to do that one. Clamato juice. That's all they use in Canada.
I don't do that.
That's all they do
not
in
for
Canada.
drinks. I don't.
Well, we're
I
not putting
don't know.
anything in it. To do a taste test, it's got to be
You're just gonna
straight.
drink it straight.
right out of the can.
Oh gosh.
That's a definite thumbs up.
All right.
Okay.
Well, how
so
about-
anything else to wrap up our backpacking trip? Oh,
We could talk about some funny things that happen. How about some funny things that we can share on air?
Is this a segue to the question of the week?
Well, yeah. Let's go question of the week real
Okay.
quick. So, question of the week for you, Tony.
Okay, Corey, you ever see something that surprised you on the trail?
I've had 2 things recently.
Yes, you have.
And
Actually,
you're
you
part of
have
the
that.
second thing. So
Oh,
you're part of the second
Well,
thing.
should I just, since we're still kind of finishing up talking about the backpacking trip, just
Yeah.
connect to that?
Yeah. So go ahead.
So,
We're on our
so-
way down, right?
well,
We're on our descent.
wait, Corey, wait.
Oh, you want to set it up more?
Because
Okay,
we're leaving from the tent site to go fishing, and this is day 3, and we're gonna go. Oh no, yes.
I was starting at the beginning.
Okay,
of how it happened,
Why don't you
right?
start there? Because it's a classic.
Okay, so we're walking down. I thought we were pretty far, but after we climbed out of there, I realized we really weren't that far in to our hike on our descent to going down to base
Pretty
camp.
early when we flopped off.
Going down to base camp.
I'll be right back.
We're following everybody down. Tony keeps leaving the scene here and then trips over the stool he has sitting there.
Maybe.
Are you okay?
No.
Well, I'll tell you who else wasn't okay. The line stops as we're hiking down, and Murray has the sole of his boot completely come off. Us in the back, we couldn't figure out what was going on, and so
Did
everybody
it completely
stopped,
come
and
off, or I thought it was still floppy?
Somebody just said, "Hey,
Oh yeah, it was off. 'Cause
hey, your sole just fell off your
the rubber
boot
part
there."
of your boot.
So Murray's had these boots for like 20 years, I guess.
Time to upgrade.
Just bought some field goal posts for CHS and can't afford any new boots, so he rolled with these things out there, and the sole just completely falls off. We don't have enough tape or anything like that, so he just packs it up and he walks down with the inner sole still on his foot, and he makes it totally fine down there. Little sore, but he did it, and we were impressed, and we were like, okay, next time you put the boots on, we'll figure something out for your walkout, and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'll let you take over from there. Because we wrapped that baby up with some of this rope that I had, and it looked good. And those guys were headed out morning before us, and then we were going to head out right after they took off to go fishing.
Yep.
And you have to take the same trail out
Same
of there.
trail.
So-
Not far down, we saw that boot and all the strings that were attached to it was just laying there in the trail.
He got rid of it shortly after they started hiking out
So
of there.
he had the rest of that hike up, just the same thing. Did it with just this.
All we saw was this sole with a bunch of that rope, that twine
Yeah, it was just laying
string,
there.
just like it got sliced and left.
Should've
And that
got a
was it.
picture.
And that was the sign.
Classic. Yep.
It didn't work.
Pretty funny. Oh boy.
It's
It's a good lesson. Check your gear, right? Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Chad's a smart guy, and poop happens, right? When you have some old boots and you just think they're going to do the job every year and whatever.
Time for some new boots.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe we can get a GoFundMe or something for Chad's boots or something.
Yeah.
Maybe we can help him out.
Why not? I think Chad's got it, but whatever.
Well, let's just go right into I'm mad, because I've been mad about something this whole episode that happened to me right before we got here. So can we do I'm mad?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Corey, what are you mad about? What's going on?
Okay, so just a couple hours ago, biking on Canfield. I'm excited because we've gotten a little bit of rain the last couple days. So I was like, hey, this is great. We've been waiting for this. Hopefully the dirt will be somewhat decent,
Thank
because we need
goodness
a
it
lot
rained.
of rain.
We got a decent amount of rain.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, like,
always
I don't
use
really know where I'm gonna go. So I go up, and I'm thinking, like, well, I gotta hit this trail that we both like, Cave, and I'm like, there's gonna be some moisture in there. It's gonna be nice and
Yeah,
smooth.
awesome.
It's gonna be great. So I was looking
You
forward
can roll
to hitting
Cave
it.
fast.
I can. I've been setting
I
some
know.
records, and I've been,
watched you.
It's not on purpose. I've been telling myself every
you're
time,
fast.
like, I gotta calm down. And headed down on my way to Cave. I'm on this trail, Trail 7. It's kind of a both way kind of trail. We've gone up it a few times, and coming around a turn, and dirt bike, motorcycle guys coming up, and I'm coming down, and I see him from a distance, and I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go right. And I'll give him the trail.
This wasn't like you came around a corner and ran into it. You saw him a ways down.
It wasn't a blind corner. I saw him.
Crazy.
It's a corners, but I
So
saw him.
he had time to see.
We both had time. We both saw each other. We had time. He's coming up pretty quick,
Could have slowed down, right?
and I slowed down.
He should have slowed down.
And it's a left turn, so I kind of hung out to the right, off to my right a little bit to give him room. And then as I go out there off the trail on the right, the only thing I could do is cut back to the left, or if I go further right, I'm going off the.
You're in the bushes.
I'm going off the mountain.
Yeah.
So I'm out to the right as far as I can go, and he decides to cut left, right into me,
into
instead
you.
of going straight
could've
or
just gone
right. He could have gone
straight.
straight, and he would have been fine.
But he
We
ran
would have
into
missed
you.
each other. He chose to go left and runs right into me. It's the front of my bike. Totals the front of my bike.
Your rim is like demolished.
It's bad.
I'm surprised you didn't get more injured than you are.
I probably should be. My shoulder got slammed. It's pretty sore right now. But yeah, I slammed into the
How
front
did you
of
land
his
on
bike.
that side?
Well, when I went out to the right, he came left like you are, and so I was already like this far, like sideways, before I was trying to turn back, because I'm like, I can't. It's too late. I can't go left. I got to commit to going off the hill. So I just
'cause he's
pointed
crazy.
it, because I'm like, Jesus.
What the heck is he doing?
And so he was coming this way, and I was holding on to my bars, and so by the time we probably hit like this, and he was,
You hit his bike.
I was in front, he hit me, and
His
so,
body hit you.
No, the front of his bike hit me right here, and then my shoulder must have hit like up around his handlebars or the front of it. I don't know if it had a. I don't think their
So did
bikes
he
have
fall
a
off?
headlight or something. Nope, it just stopped, and his bike died right there, and mine was crunched, and I didn't fall off my bike or anything. I
Oh, wow.
was able to put my leg down. We just hit, and I put my leg down
Dang.
and caught myself, and then I just looked down, and my front of my bike's just folded like a taco, and I'm like, he backed
Sucks.
off, and he's like, oh, sorry, and I was like, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. And I asked him, I go, is your bike okay? He's like, oh, yeah, it's fine. And he didn't ask me about my bike, because you can see it looks like a freaking taco. So I just kind of chuck it off to the side because I'm mad, and I'm trying to
You were mad.
gather myself. And he looked like he was like a high school kid or something. So I didn't fire off on him or anything. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, he's probably a little scared and shaken, and I just looked at him. I go,
You went
"Dude,"
into dad mode.
I go, dude, you gotta stay right. Like, if I'm coming out and the way this corner is, If I go right and you see me going out wide,
I'm giving you that
you gotta.
avenue.
I'm like, you stay right. Just everybody stay in their lane. You gotta stay right, man. And he's like, okay.
Well, shit, and slow down. Like, come on, dude. Slow down and just frick.
He
That
said he was
sucks.
going 20, but I don't know what that. I mean, when you're
20's
out there on
pretty
those
fast.
trails, 20's fast.
20's fast.
I don't even go 20 down cave. I know I get up to like 15ish,
20's
and it
fast.
feels 15 feels like 40 going down cave. So
I go 25.
probably.
No,
I
think 18.
I just
19,
it was
20.
just a frustrating thing to go through. And then
Get it out, Corey.
He asked me, he's like, "Do you want to ride down?" And I was like,
How would that work?
I was like, "F that! I don't want to ride with you on that thing." Like after you see,
You should have said, "Yeah, take my bike down."
I said I got to take my bike down.
Yeah, take
And
my
he says,
bike
"Well,
down.
we have
Strap
a
it to your
quad."
back.
He says we have a quad, and I was like,
You should have.
I just go.
You should have.
I didn't want to be around people.
Well,
I needed to go for about a 2-mile
maybe
walk,
you
and
would-
that's how many
maybe you
miles
would
I
have got
had
into
to
a
get down to the
conversation
bottom.
Of like, dude, this is gonna probably cost me $500 to fix this.
Yeah, maybe. I guess.
mean,
I don't know.
Even if he gave $100, that'd be nice. But whatever, he's a kid. You were a dad.
I don't know. I just said I'm
It
gonna.
sucks,
I just said I'm gonna walk it down.
Sorry, buddy.
So I'm mad, Tony.
I know you're mad.
I'm mad.
Well, the big
I'm
thing,
slightly mad.
you can always repair a
Nobody
bike.
died.
You can always repair a
Nobody
bike.
broke bones.
But you can't repair Corey. So we're glad you're still with
We've
us,
had to
Corey.
repair Corey a couple times already.
Yeah. Well,
But-
your brain was kind of mush there for a bit.
I
but
knew
you're- but you're back.
I knew I was okay. He was okay, and then yeah, you're right. You know, things can be fixed or replaced.
You can
or
always
whatever.
fix a bike.
So I was wearing my helmet, so nothing happened there. I didn't hit my head. I don't think I hit my head. Didn't go through a helmet on that.
Are you
one.
okay?
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Went home, took a shower, had a beverage,
Okay.
doing the show.
Well, we're glad
That's what we do.
We're glad you're with us. Corey.
Ride and rally.
Okay.
Get the Duke show down.
Have you gotten it all out? Like, are we done? I'm mad.
I think I'm okay. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
okay?
Are you mad about anything or no?
I'm mad that you got into that crash. I'm mad at that kid.
It's almost becoming a thing. I mean, there's a lot of people, so I don't know if there's something they got to do about designated trails or something. It's just one of those things where
Well, I can tell you this, Corey.
that wouldn't matter. Like, you just stay in your freaking lane.
We all get mad about the motorcycles, kind of, right? But actually, the times I've had quite a few, passings, but most of those guys have done a really good job. Like I've been lucky, right? They seem like they're older motorcycle guys.
Yeah.
So friggin', they slow down. They take their far right. I take my far right. They've slowed down. They'll let me flash like, hey, there's two guys behind me, whatever.
Yeah.
So like, frick, by then you can just get off your bike and go stand off and let them go zip by, whatever. But yeah, it sucks what happened to you, man.
Yeah, we've even had it. We had it happen on the way home from camping when the guy on the motorcycle, he held up 3, right? So we knew three people were behind him. So there's just some things that they do that are helpful.
Courtesy on the trail, man.
Yeah. And
Share the trail.
I've passed plenty of people in the same scenario. I've just never had them turn into me. And
Yeah, you
so it's
panicked
just,
or something
weird.
weird. I don't know.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Well, what else makes me something that would make me feel better and not mad is being able to grab some Trailside Dukes merch.
It's never too early to Christmas
Right?
shop, Corey.
That's right. Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat.
Jeez, just
Place a
imagine
Trailside Dukes coaster in the old man's hat.
Imagine how on top
about
of it
that?
you would be if you started ordering your Christmas stuff now.
You could be done. I mean, you could just go to our the links.
Get some cool Trailside
in the
Dukes
description to our store.
Stuff. I know. And Corey,
You
you
can get all
wore
sorts of
your
stuff.
Trailside Dukes biking shirt the whole time.
Not the biking shirt.
Oh,
I didn't
just
wear-
your regular shirt.
When we were camping, I did wear the Trailside Dukes,
Yeah.
the light shirt, almost kind of like this color.
I would have worn
but
mine, but I didn't want it to get wrecked
It's
down
in
there.
the wash or something, isn't it?
Well,
Yours is?
it is now. Otherwise, I'd have it on. But
I wore mine almost every day. It wicked away moisture. It was a nice, cool, light shirt to wear.
good purchase.
I loved
I know,
wearing
I'm
my
gonna get one.
Trailside Dukes shirt out in the wilderness. It
I'm
was
gonna
great.
get one. I'm getting my Christmas shopping done.
Yeah, no little known fact for you here.
Okay.
It kept the bears away.
I bet it
I didn't
did.
see any bears at all. I didn't want to see any bears.
Especially you with your shirt off, for sure.
Oh, I forgot I had my shirt off.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need to show that at all. But
On
was a
that note-
picture that escaped that was me fishing, and I was hoping people would look at the fish instead of my belly.
It's
Nobody
already,
needs
it's
to see
already
that.
floating around on the internet, Corey. On that note, peace
You're
out.
ready to end this on that
On
one.
that note, we're ready to go,
Hey,
Corey.
keep your tires on the trail. Look out for each other. And go USA. Go Team Croatia. Go
And
Canada.
Let's go, baby.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe and hit the post notification bell for more.
I think so. It was probably a 7.2.